Hi guys, I'm Coach Amy, and for those of you who don't know me, I have over 10 years working in the health and wellness industry in various aspects, from certified personal trainer, swim instructor, Tai Chi instructor, a healthy children after school program, summer fit camps, an analytical chemist in the pharmaceutical industry, and now an evidence-informed holistic health coach. I'm also a PhD student of integrative and functional nutrition, minoring in mind-body medicine, and I specialize in weight loss for pre-diabetic clients. So today is part one of a series that I'm going to be covering different dietary approaches to weight loss. I'm going to talk about low carb today. Over the next few days, I'll be talking about low carb, low fat, high protein, the low calorie approach, a Mediterranean approach, and intermittent fasting. These are all common approaches that you hear people talk about when it comes to weight loss and dieting and exercise. And I really just want to give you some takeaways that are based in the evidence out there and from my personal experience as well in working as a weight loss coach. So hopefully you'll be able to take some recommendations away that are meaningful that you can implement right away in your weight loss journey. Now, over the last few days, I gave an introduction on Friday to this series, and I just want to bring up again that when it comes to being an unhealthy weight, the research shows that only 5 to 10% of your weight and weight loss can make a huge difference in your overall health. And to put that into perspective, again, if you currently weigh 200 pounds, 5% would be just 10 pounds lost. That is going to make a significant increase in the overall state of your health. 10% would be 20 pounds, and you can do that relatively easy by implementing these strategies and improve your health. So also, what you want to keep in mind when I'm covering the different approaches is that there's research to support all of these approaches, right? There's research to support them. That's why you hear about them. And that finding the right fit for you is completely individual to many different factors. And I hope that you begin to understand what those factors are as I cover these approaches. So also, keeping in mind, I'm talking about dietary strategies, but the research shows for long-term weight loss success, those who incorporate regular physical activity into their life and it becomes a habit and just something they do are the ones who are able to keep the weight off. So it's important to think about what you enjoy, right? The best workout to do is the one that you'll actually do. And so it needs to be enjoyable. So think back to when you were a kid. Think back to what you enjoy now. And then be creative. Be willing to be open to try new things. Also keeping in mind that research shows that when you have the support of a social group, that you're more likely and you're going to have more motivation to keep coming back to exercise. So finding that group workout can be, whether it's a running group, a walking group, a cycling group, group fitness, Zumba, body sculpt classes, yoga, whatever it is, finding what you enjoy is important. Okay, now with all that out of the way, let's just get right into the low carb approach. So over the last few days, last week, I did mention Dr. Berkeley, who's the medical director of Weight Management Partners in Beechwood, Ohio. And I'm linking the article below. I highly suggest you read the article titled Getting Back to Our Roots, because she really, she has over 30 years experience working with weight loss patients and she knows what works. So basically talking about the low carb approach, she says many weight loss specialists focus on the contribution of the insulin system to overweight and metabolic syndrome. What does that mean? I'll tell you in a second. She says, we do this because it's one of the factors that we can actually control through dietary modulation. And because lowering our body's insulin demand creates a clinical response. What does that mean? By lowering your carbohydrates, it's the one thing we know that works. Hands down, it works for everyone, and that's because we're actually controlling our insulin response. Insulin is also known as our fat storage hormone. It stores fat in our body, and when we have insulin in our system, we're not losing fat, we're storing fat. And this is why we know hands down this approach works. So with that out of the way, I want to talk about why a low carb approach might not be the right approach for you. And starting uh, with the obvious, if you are eating a low carbohydrate diet, you replace those calories with fat. So you're actually increasing fat. And I'm sure we've all heard of the ketogenic diet. I'll circle back on that in a second. But basically, our LDL cholesterol number goes up when we're eating a higher fat diet. Now, in also what happens, our HDL, which is the good cholesterol, that number goes up as well. And our overall triglycerides go down. So current research also shows that it's not so much the LDL cholesterol number, but it's actually the particle number that's more indicative of heart disease risk. However, if you have the gene in your family for high cholesterol, which is called familial hypercholesterolemia, then the low carb approach is definitely a higher fat approach diet is something that you want to avoid because it will increase your risk and you would respond better. The research supports your body responds better to having more carbohydrates. And we'll get into those approaches over the next few days, but that's one reason you wouldn't want to do a low carbohydrate diet if you have familial hypercholesterolemia. Number two, the jury is out for long-term effects of a ketogenic diet. There's just no research out there. We don't know yet. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And sustainability can be an issue. And what that means is, that's where your bio-individuality comes into play. Can you sustain a low carb diet? Are you able to do it? And that's when having the support of a knowledgeable coach such as myself and a practitioner can really help guide you into finding the right fit for your body. So, a frequent approach that often works for many people who do not have the hypercholesterolemia that runs in their family is to use the low carbohydrate diet to reset your hormonal response and get the insulin level down. And especially in pre-diabetics, this is effective. It works just like Dr. Berkeley says. And then once you are past the weight loss stage, you begin to add carbohydrates back and you follow more of the evidence-based Mediterranean style of eating. So what are today's takeaway about low carbohydrate diet? 1, low carbohydrate diet is the quickest way to reset your body to start burning fat. 2, ketogenic diets are being used therapeutically, and I think I forgot to mention this, but this is on the takeaway. Ketogenic diets are successfully being used therapeutically to completely reverse type 2 diabetes, which means you're getting that insulin and the blood sugar levels down. And this is, again, therapeutically. This is happening in a clinical setting with a physician. Number 3, the long-term effects of ketogenic diets have not been studied, and so we'll know more in the future. 4, bio-individuality is playing a primary role in whether low carbohydrate diet is the right one for you, because the best weight loss dietary approach is the one that you're able to incorporate into your life and that makes sense for you, and you're able to maintain it. Number 5, I think I'm counting in the, yeah, number 5 is familial hypercholesterolemia. The low carbohydrate diet is not the right approach for you. And number 6, having a knowledgeable practitioner or coach along your side and working in a group setting with one-on-one coaching is the recipe for success. So, guys, contact me if you're interested in working with me or just having a consultation to talk about where you are, what you've tried, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and give you 45 to 50 minutes of my time for free. I know the ins and outs of our bodies, hormonal systems, and I work with weight loss clients all the time and have a great amount of success. So private message me ASAP, and I'll see you tomorrow when I talk about a low fat approach, right? All right, guys, see you next time tomorrow. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me. See ya.